I don't think that children should be transitioning.
I would never presume to know more than a doctor about anything. No, you're caving. Why? Why are you caving? Why are you caving?
You're anti-trans.
Yeah, so the first thing we have, I watched a video by this person, and it was one of the strangest things I've ever seen. It seemed a bit like how to speedrun getting murdered as a trans person. And it was about like some being invited to some threesome and then getting rejected for being trans. Hi Gypsy Lee, thank you so much. And then like getting revenge on them, like showing up, pretending to be someone else, like covering up their like Adam's apple and stuff, and somehow not getting murdered. You know what I mean? Not much, just stealing the election. Hey, that's the American way these days. If someone's not trying to steal the election, is the election even happening? But yeah, this Patricia Elise person, but they've made this video called Kids Don't Need a Sex Change, they need education and freedom. And like on the face of it, I agree with that fully, you know what I mean? That sounds like something I'd say. So I don't know. Maybe there's hope. Maybe this person isn't so bad. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what's going on.
Hey everybody, it's Trisha. How are y'all doing today? This is going to be a quick one because somebody left me a question and it's a really good question and I want to answer it real quick. Oh, and by the way, tomorrow's the big day. Keep your fingers crossed for me. I'll be going into the hospital. So,
the big day, is this this surgery? Is this something else? I don't know if they're gonna say.
I got a question from somebody asking how I feel about children transitioning.
How do you feel about children and the hormones, social transitioning? I've no issue with adults living their lives and making those decisions. It really bothers me that children are being brought into it. I am not trying to be rude at all. Hopefully this has come off that way. I don't think they've been rude at all, but unfortunately you're going to get people that will take it the wrong way and will, I don't know. This is the kind of thing that offends a lot of people because, I don't know, some people like to think and that's not what we want. Hi, Meat Vessel. Thank you so much.
And here's the deal. I do not feel that children should be transitioning. I think that should be left to...
Oh, cancelled. There we go. Revoke your membership card to trans immediately if you are not on board with roping kids into adult decisions that they probably don't understand. I'm sorry. It was a good run. It was a good run, Patricia, at least. You're going to have to get cancelled now. I don't make the rules. I'm cancelled myself. It is what it is.
To somebody... It shouldn't be done on a whim, for one. And I don't feel that children really have the capacity to need to transition, I guess, mentally. And having said that, though, I don't feel that gender norms should be pushed on kids either, as far as like if a boy...
I think we agree an awful lot, actually. This is fairly based so far. Like, do we need to push, like, gender roles on children? I don't think so. I don't know that we need to push rigid traditional gender roles on children any more than we need to push gender transition and gender identity on kids, you know? Cancelled and shadow banned. Oof. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, listen, if you're watching, you should consider checking out Sky Vitariti's channel. She makes good videos.
Boy wants to play with dolls, let him play with dolls. Boys shouldn't be taught that playing with dolls is wrong. Just like girls shouldn't be taught that driving a forklift over the neighbor's dog is wrong. Thanks, Mom. But anyways, yeah, I don't think that children should be transitioning. Me personally, like I've said many times, my doctor kind of attributes my situation to a chemical imbalance. So I think that...
Do I know why tradition exists? Well, I mean, our culture has been evolving over millennia. Obviously, religion has had a big factor because religion has been a very big part of our culture for a long time. But I would argue that some of the gender role stuff, it's a bit regressive and it's a bit unneeded. But then when we're trying to push a different version of gender roles, then I don't see how we're any better. That's why I'm like, maybe neither is really what we need to be doing. Like, I don't know. Oh, thank you, Big Aaron. I hope you're good.
There's very few cases where it's actually necessary for anybody to transition, to be honest. I feel that it's just, people are doing it too much on a whim nowadays, but it's good.
Yep, people are doing it because it's fashionable. If you think otherwise, you're more than welcome to explain your thought process to me. I fail to see how there's not a fashion element to it these days.
That people like myself are feeling more comfortable.
Hi, fun Yuns. I hope you're good.
And are feel like they're able to come out with it, to be themselves without having to worry about society just totally burning them at the stake like they used to be, like they used to do. But as far as that, adults, I don't even feel like, new adults.
Well, how much has tradition been maintained? Like, things have been constantly changing for a long, long, long time. And, like, gender roles just aren't anywhere near as prominent as they used to be because of shit like feminism. I think when I'm saying regressive, it's things like males being the one that go out and earn the money, the females stay home and have all the kids and keep the house and stuff. It's just not really how it has to be anymore. I don't know. I haven't exactly prepared for a fucking debate on gender roles and what's traditional and what. So I don't know. Maybe if you came back another day, I'd have a better answer than that. Similar to being mindful not to push religion on kids, being mindful not to push gender norms, I think could do some good, like toxic masculine sports culture. Hey, maybe, yeah. I've seen Nominal Naomi AOF, so you don't have to. Don't. Oh, I'm not. I'm not planning on it. Listen. I reckon there's probably a big niche for someone to fill, just going on like these weird people's OnlyFans and like presenting it in a YouTube video, like censored or whatever, in a way that will get through. But it's not going to be me that's doing that. I'm not fucking paying any money for anyone's fucking OnlyFans. No, thank you. Oh, thank you, Funyans. I hope you're good. I will remember each and every one of you. Don't worry.
I don't know. It's got to be a long time coming, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't just want to do it on a whim. And you need to definitely seek help if you are having gender issues. Like I always say, please get help, professional medical help. And talk.
Yeah, the problem is I don't trust half the healthcare providers, especially in this person's country. But in terms of the message, I honestly agree with what she's saying. The left overlook traditions that usually adaptive. They act like traditions just randomly appeared from nowhere. Yeah, I hope I'm not doing that, to be clear. Like, you could say I'm on the left, I don't know, if you're being quite broad with that, because I'm like centrist, liberal, or whatever. Like, I have at least some understanding of where traditions come from and why, you shouldn't just discard anything you don't like. That we should rethink, we should continually like adapt and evolve, but at the same time, there's no point pretending that anything traditional is something that's just automatically bad and should be done away with because it's not progressive, At the same time, it doesn't really make sense that women should all stay at home and not have careers in any cases.
Talk to your doctor.
As an example.
If you see a doctor for a while, a gender-affirming doctor, they will tell you if they think it's right for you to transition or not. And trust me, they know what they're talking about. And I was totally confused. I was like all over the place.
They know what they're talking about, do they? I think your mileage heavily varies. We'll get someone like Nominal Naomi talking about how, trans people are all very well informed by their doctors what's going on. I don't think that's true at all. I think it probably depends what doctor you have. I mean, I used to say the same shit. And I mean, I went to the London Gender Identity Clinic. But the thing is, like, that's just one clinic. Does everywhere else, do they all know what they're doing? I mean, I got my surgery a year before Richie Herron did in the same country on the NHS. So even in a country like this that's not that big and has only a few resources for trans people, even then it's very dicey ultimately.
Place before I started getting gender affirming care, and it sucks. It's confusing. It's horrible. But yeah, to answer the question, no, I don't feel that.
More woke than left. Ah, yeah, I got you. That's why I normally use the term progressive. Depends. I see a lot of therapist shopping that goes on. Yeah, I mean, that's always going to be a problem. And it's not just for things like, it's not just for things like trans. It happens with all sorts of things because people often get an idea of what they want in their head, whether it's trans healthcare, whether it's stimulants like Adderall or whatever, certain kinds of depression medication, and they will just go around until they find a doctor that will agree with them. And that's a huge problem. Like that's only going to continue, I think, ultimately. You have to trust the same mental and physical healthcare industry that's full of people that believe experimenting on children with sterilizing, health-damaging procedures is just fine. Yeah. Yeah, like it's such... I don't know, it's so annoying. Like, I'll talk to people where the main disagreement we actually have is that I don't trust the healthcare providers and they do. But it's like, well... You know, ultimately we're all forced to an extent, but that doesn't mean I should be okay with it, you know? And it makes it very complicated trying to work out who can be trusted for what. Like, you know, if I'm sowing distrust, I'm not really giving a solution, which is something that bothers me a little, but I don't really know what to do about that because trans medicine, trans care has been like, it's been funneled into a very specific like tube or something. I don't know. Hi, Sylvia. I hope you're good. Just a reminder, Dr. Jamie is a trusted licensed professional. Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ. It outraged me the first time I saw that. It really bothers me. Like, those kind of appeals to authority, we shouldn't be encouraging them, in my opinion.
Kids should be transitioning. I know that may surprise some of y'all, but like I said, I don't think that boys should be taught that it's wrong to play with dolls. I don't think that...
As a recently qualified therapist in the UK, I'm concerned we're leading people down a path that doesn't even help them in the long run, covers up almost their other issues like trauma, etc. Yeah, fully agree. Hi, Cam. I hope you're good. Hi, Kitsch Kiss. Hope you're good too. Thank you.
Girls should be taught that it's wrong to want to be, you know, construction workers. I don't know, whatever. I don't think that, you know, they should be, you know, you should try to shame kids for wanting to be themselves. And if you have kids,
exactly. Like, let them experiment, let them do their thing as long as they're not hurting themselves or others. Does there need to be a label slapped on it? If a little girl tends to play with like toy cars, that doesn't mean she's a boy, for example. So why not just let them do their thing and kind of just make sure they're okay instead of like slapping labels on them? Like, why not do that? Hi, Devil, you don't. Thank you so much.
Kids and you're wondering about them, you know, like say if, you know, your little boy is always talking about, you know, wanting to wear girls' clothes and stuff, just keep an eye on him. Like, you know, let him be himself. Let him.
Yeah, let girls play firemen all they want. Sure, yeah, absolutely. That doesn't make them male. That doesn't make them anything like that. What is Dr. Jamie even qualified as? Let me just find out. I don't have anything for her queued, but she has like bits of information. Oh my god. Joanna Arlson-Kennedy admits gender expression is incredibly fluid. That's only what I've been saying for fucking forever. Let me just find her. It's not that one. I'll just find a random
Hey,
video.
it's Dr. Jamie.
Didn't ask. But yeah, it's got this thing on all of her videos from a doctor licensed in the US, which automatically that suggests this person is someone to be trusted, which I disagree with. Listen, I have a bit of a soft spot for Dr. Jamie because she's kind of iconic and funny, but like, she also is emblematic of a huge problem, in my opinion. Yeah, medical doctor, psychiatrist, WPATH, GEI, SOC 8 certified member, gender researcher, specialized in gender affirming care. I think she tends to treat a lot of like veterans and stuff, but I could be wrong. Which, hey, if she's helping veterans and stuff, I'm not going to shit on that. Fucking hell. I stayed at home with my kids and their babies. My husband didn't believe in daycare centers. My mom helped financially buying stuff for our house. Oh, wow. That's good of her. Let me just see if there's any more information. Okay. Grew up in a family vineyard. These people are often quite well off, it turns out. You get these wealthy, older trans people that just kind of muscle their way in onto the scene. She, they psychiatrist who works with WPATH. I mean, fucking hell, WPATH is... Well, I mean, WPATH, they don't work for directly, I don't think. It's more of an association, not an association. Like a union, I guess. I don't know. If we have... I don't know if Amaya's around. Amaya is someone that used to be in WPATH who knows. Okay, this is nothing to do with anything. But yeah, Dr. Jamie Agapoff.
If he wants to wear rose clothes, let him work. You know, like where it's appropriate, you know, let him dress up a little bit. You know, when he gets older, maybe that's something that he wants to pursue. When he gets to be an adult, you know, the same goes for little girls. You know, just don't push this whole societal, you know, stigma on them around transgender people, and don't teach them that that's wrong, but also don't tell, you know, just teach your kids that it's something that I did mine anyways. I've talked to my kids about this, that it's something not to be taken.
Isn't it Agapoff with a P, as in like P as in Peter? I can't remember my my phonetic alphabet anymore.
Taken lightly. It's not a bad thing, but it's not something to be taken lightly.
Papa, sorry, it's Papa. I do remember. I used to have to use it constantly because I used to have to like say like postcodes and shit, and so many letters. If you just say S and like C and like T and stuff, half of them sound the same on the phone. Anyway, not relevant.
Either. It's just something that some people go through. Give them the numbers, you know, when they get a little older, like your kids. When they get a little older, give them the numbers, look them up. You know, less than 2% of the population is transgender, you know. Let them have the numbers. Say, look, this is how rare it is, and, you know, this is, you know, there are real people out there that truly are transgender, and there's people out there that just are not, but for whatever reason they, you know, they like, for sexual reasons or for kinks or whatever. You know, it's just like with anything else, where, you know, this is not like a new thing. So anyways, that's how I really feel about it. And I wanted to tell you guys, if you're subscribed, and even if you're not, if you're watching this right now.
After the other video of this person we watched, I'm extremely creeped out by this person. Yeah, the last video I watched by them was really strange. It seemed like a speedrunning, getting yourself seriously injured or killed as a trans person, but I agree with this video, I gotta say.
I love y'all so much, and thank y'all for being there for me through all this. Like I said, tomorrow's a big day, so you're probably not going to see any videos from me for a few days. But I'm going to be I'm going to be posting like the second I get back home. So maybe I might even make one in the hospital. I don't know. But you know me, I'm weird. But so that's really all I have to say about it.
Okay, when they say the big day, maybe it's a vaginoplasty, who knows, they didn't really say. But hey, listen, what you want to share of your private life is ultimately up to you.
I just wanted to clear the air and let my stance on that be known, that no kids should not be changing genders or sex, but they should be able to be themselves. They don't need to be, you know, taught that it's wrong to be themselves. Like I said, I'm going to say it one more time. If a little boy wants to play with dolls, let him play with dolls. Don't tell him that it's wrong. You know, just keep an eye on them.
Yeah, you don't have to tell him it's wrong. You don't have to tell him that literally means he's a girl. You know what I mean?
You know, as they, you know, over time, as they progress. Same with little girls, you know. So I hope that clears the air and makes my stance known. I hope that answers your question. Viewer, you know who you are. And thank you for your question. I really appreciate it. Oh, and one more thing.
Doesn't seem their treatment is helping. Well, I wouldn't know. I mean, I don't know. Does this person seem unhappy to me? I can't really tell. Like, I'm an extremely stoic person myself for the most part. I know it's probably wild to say on here when I soy out frequently at literally everything, but I don't know. I don't express myself in the most vibrant way either. People can say that it didn't help me, and maybe it didn't. I don't know. But hey. My brothers also played house with me and were like, let kids be kids. What they play with doesn't mean nothing. Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't know, going through your natural puberty, why is it a death sentence? Why do we treat it like it's something to be avoided at all costs? Especially when most of the people that push for that kind of thing, they have like no idea how it would have been for them if they'd have not had puberty and stuff. They might be happier, sure. They might pass better. They might be way worse off, like, physically. Like, their health might be a bit fucked up by the whole thing. We don't know. So I don't know why we'd treat it like that. I don't know why we wouldn't exercise caution and understand that, well, I don't know. It's meant to be about identity as well. So it's like, what the fuck does it matter even if you've gone through male puberty? So I'm trying to understand the other perspective, but it just doesn't make any sense. However you try and spin it. And it's not like I haven't listened to enough person giving that kind of perspective. No idea about his court cases, whatnot, when I applied. Wow, I think I'm jumping in on something halfway. I hope you're good though. People always tell me I need to smile more, so I bite them and then I bring it up again. Hey, yeah, I'll listen. Do you think this person would be trans 10 years ago? I have no idea, to be honest. I don't know how long they've been trans for. Because the thing is, you asked me, like, I started about 10 years ago, so I don't know. Like, around about this time 10 years ago, my referral was sent off to the GIC. And then in October was the first time I saw someone. It does matter to therapists like Diane Ehrensaft, who use toy choice to diagnose transness in kids. That is very irresponsible and dangerous, in my opinion. Your toy choice, like, fucking hell. Like, I'd be horrified. Like, if my nephew started playing with dolls and stuff, like, why would it mean that now he has to change, like, gender or change sex and stuff? I'd be horrified if someone suggested that, personally.
I want to do an Ask Me Anything video.
How often is it that, like, gay kids end up playing with, like, the toys stereotypically associated with the other sex? How often do, like, gay kids do that and then grow up and, like, they're gay? It makes me wonder about the whole kind of, which way is the conversion therapy really coming from? You know what I'm saying? But hey, that's something I need to think way more about. But I do think there's something to the idea that a lot of gay people, a lot of gay kids, etc., like, at one point they would have just grown up to be gay and hopefully been happy and shit. And then nowadays they have to be the other sex. So yeah, I don't know. There's definitely something to it, but I need to look more into it.
Here in the next couple of weeks. So if anybody has any questions that you'd like to know about me, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments, and I'll answer them in the video, okay? So like I said, I love you guys. Thank you so much for all your help.
My son is 8. He has long curly hair and wears purple at the time. He's definitely like 47% girl. Wow.
And I will see y'all on the other side. Goodbye.
Have I been watching a horror movie? No, I've been watching Patricia Elise. Her videos just look like that. To be honest, I fully agree with that video. Yeah, people seem supportive. Good for her. Hopefully, if this gets more views, help them out a bit. There we go. Patricia Elise. Yeah, like I said, the last video I saw seemed weird and irresponsible. But this one, I fully agree with, honestly. But yeah, this Patricia Elise person. So she made a video stating her beliefs about trans kids, that perhaps kids shouldn't be transitioning, which I fully agree with. And this video is, apparently kids do need a sex change, according to some of my fellow trans. Video diary number 38. In this video diary, I talk about my twisted new book I'm writing, which has parallels to my life. Also, I talk about the backlash from my last video diaries. This is the last one that we watched. This is what we watched by this person. Let's have a look. Let's see what she's been hearing. Oh yeah, this is like copyright bait as fuck.
Jealousy, debauchery, sex. Small price to pay for 1 million subs.
Hi everybody, my name is Patricia and I am in pain due to my recent hospitalization, my recent surgery. Yeah, it sucks. But
I think she might be post-op now, but I wasn't following closely enough to know for sure what the surgical procedure was. She mentioned it in the last video, so.
I'm happy. I gotta take these once a day to keep me from getting infected down there. And I gotta make sure.
There's one of the people that can't smile. There's lots of them. The one that jumps straight to my mind is that pissed up lawyer guy on Twitter. The kind of guy who makes these angry selfies talking about his trans joy and how transphobes wouldn't know what trans joy is like, you know. Just true enough. I mean, I'm literally trans myself and I have no idea what trans joy is like, so.
My legs stay separated, so it's kind of tricky to sit sometimes. But anyways, and I can't sit up for very long right now. But anyways, I wanted to talk for a minute, and first, the good news. If you like my writing, I officially started work on my second book. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's called Tiffany TV. It's about a mentally unstable trans woman who starts a YouTube channel. Sound familiar?
Does sound familiar. Hey, I guess that's most of us.
And she does degrading. She can't get views, so she starts recording herself doing degrading stuff, and her channel begins to get very popular. Well, she takes things too far and winds up.
Okay, this book is just about me. This is not funny. This is not funny, Patricia. I'm joking.
Stuck living a double life, and then things get worse whenever she contracts a deadly disease, and then she struggles to make amends before her time is up. It's called Tiffany TV, and it will be out in the next couple of months, probably by the 1st of April. Anywho, so
there you go. That sounded interesting to you, then check it out, I guess. More interested in what's about to come though.
My last video diary, when I was talking about, you know, kids not needing a sex change, I got a little bit of backlash from my fellow trans out there, some of them, and can't really say that I'm surprised, but they didn't like what I said at all about. They don't like the fact that I don't think kids need a transition. And
yeah, that's what happens. You have an opinion on something that isn't literally the majority opinion. You get shat on. That's just what happens. Like, this must have come after I looked at this, because like I looked at the comments and it was all supportive. I guess we can check them out. But like, I don't know. Most of the comments when I looked were agreeing with us. So hey, where was it? This one. Kids don't need a sex change. They need education and freedom. That's the one that I watched. Hey, listen. I'm a writer too. I write songs. I write music. Having a creative outlet is good. You know, not gonna shit on someone for that. Oh, hi Nick. Hope you're good. Okay, so we've got medical organizations recognize the medical necessity, blah, blah, blah. I would never presume to know more than a doctor about anything. No, you're caving. Why? Why are you caving? Why are you caving? Oh my God. Yeah, that's what I mean. 2 days ago and then 4 days ago, it's someone agreeing with them. Oh, look, it's me. Holy shit. I think it's going to be much else. Yeah, most of them was supportive. Like, unless we, listen, here's a tip. Newest first. If you think your comment's being deleted, newest first. Your comment probably ain't being deleted. Anyway. Okay, I don't know where else the backlash came from. So, that's fair enough. But this is, gross, by the way. Almost all Americans, so a huge question because of all this. What that would be, what about the rest of the world? Why is it that the UK, Sweden, other countries, Italy now as well, are starting to reject this stuff? It's a very America-centric argument, and this person isn't even, this isn't even their argument. This is them saying, well, other people say this. It's like, okay, amazing.
Just say this. A couple of them sent me some medical facts and stuff. Let me just say, I would never presume that I know more than a doctor. If a doctor says that a child needs...
Yeah, Sweden is one of the... They've been leading the push. It's been like Sweden, Finland, the UK. In the CAS review, there were two national, like... Oh, what was it? I can't remember now. Like, the only countries that they thought had a good approach to transitioning people was Sweden and Finland. Apparently there's some countries like Australia and France that are kind of going in the other direction. And maybe I'll check that out if I have time. There's a Monty video about it. So maybe I can follow into what's going on there. But I don't know. It seems like rats trying to go down with the ship for some reason. Not going to stop them. I just think they might want to consider other options. So hey.
Needs to transition, then that child needs to transition. I'm going to trust a medical professional. Just say, I would never presume that I know more than a doctor. If a doctor says that a child needs to transition, then
what if that doctor is Joanna Olsen Kennedy and that child is Clementine Breen? I don't know. That's just one example of very, very many. Why would you want to transition a child if there's a chance they might go through reversible steps of transition and then decide that it's not right for them?
then that child needs to transition. I'm going to trust a medical professional.
Ouch.
Y'all gotta remember, these are my opinion. These video diaries, these are my opinions. So chill, these are just my opinions, and I can only speak from my own personal experience. I was a child once.
Hi, Reverse. I hope you're good.
And my own, raising my own kids. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. If a doctor were to say that a child needs to transition, I'm not gonna argue with that.
I am. I'll do it all fucking day. You can tell every parent you can find that their child is going to commit suicide if they don't transition. I will argue with you about that. I don't give a fuck. I don't care that I'm not a doctor myself. It is what it is, man. You gotta decide which side you're on at some point.
I'm just saying. My only point was that there's very few, if any, instances that a child would even really want to transition. From what I've seen, anyways. And remember, I'm only talking personal experience. But my only point was that there's very few, if any, instances that a child would even really want to transition.
Okay, I disagree with this heavily. I think things like social contagion. One of your friends does it. You might end up following them. You might just see a kid in your class transition and then just get a bunch of attention like lavished onto them, like get treated differently, etc., etc. You might decide you want that for yourself. There's plenty of reasons, you know what I mean?
From what I've seen, anyways. And remember, I'm only talking personal experience. I haven't met.
Yeah, it's mostly more liberal countries, like places like here in Scandinavia and stuff.
Every single child on the planet, okay?
And to be fair, I guess America's kind of going to be joining them because of Donald Trump, so.
Anyways, and remember, I'm only talking personal experience. I haven't met every single child on the planet, okay? Obviously. I haven't.
Nor have they, nor have the APA or any of the other organizations that people are using to try and disprove what you're saying. You know what I mean? The total refusal to acknowledge social contagion. Fuck me, I can't speak today. The total refusal to acknowledge social contagion is so strange. It's not strange if you understand why they do it. I mean, it's difficult to prove social contagion, especially in I don't know how you study that kind of thing. So it makes perfect sense. But it's kind of gross because obviously it's happening. Hi, Sus. I hope you're good.
But met your kids or your so.
You don't have to, really. You can acknowledge that there probably are some children that genuinely have that gender dysphoria. But the problem is there's no control for that. There's no way of knowing which kids have it and which don't. And when there seems to be evidence out there that a kid will often naturally desist if they're not transitioned, what we're saying is we need to be extremely careful. And if a medical organization is going to say, no, this is safe and fine and perfectly normal, then maybe you should be questioning that organization. Just because they're doctors, you shouldn't be able to question someone if they're a doctor. I think fuck that personally.
So I don't know them. So yes, children do.
Does anyone think the proposed ban on TikTok in the US may help curb some of the younger audiences? I think there's such a big problem on YouTube, to be honest. TikTok is where the worst of it is, I would say. It's an awful format for that kind of thing. And it's even more attention seekery than YouTube is. But YouTube has so many fucking problems, man. Unless you end up watching someone like Blair White or Buck Angel or Offensive Tranny or something, and you kind of latch onto that straight away, you could end up watching all sorts of shit. This is why I raise the alarm about people like Jammy Dodger, who I consider to be grooming people. Because he is. He's kind of... he's trying to teach you a very dodgy way of thinking, quite frankly. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, the TikTok thing, surely they're just going to all come over to YouTube. But then some of them are going over to the Chinese version, and apparently it's a lot more censored and a lot more regulated than the version that we Westerners get. Which makes sense. Why would they want the kind of garbage that we get fed on TikTok to be shown to their own civilians? Why would they want half of their own fucking population developing things like DID or like ersatz gender dysphoria, you know?
They go through gender confusion. I know that because I went through it when I was a young child. I was going through some gender confusion. But, one of my viewers had asked me a question, what my stance on kids transitioning, and I thought it was a good question. And and anytime somebody asks me something, I'm going to answer it. So I thought it was a good question, and
has there been like a fallout from those people going onto the Chinese version already? I haven't seen it, to be honest. Jesus.
Figured I should make a little video diary about it, so I did. And that was my answer, and that's my stance on it. I don't think kids should change sexes unless a doctor says so.
And the thing is, just because a doctor says so, that doesn't mean that suddenly it's an appropriate age to be making those kind of decisions. I mean, think about what decision it is you're making, and think about the ramifications, the very long-lasting ramifications of that decision that some kids are making when they're, like 10, 11? Something like that. They start puberty blockers at, say, 12 or 13. It's perfectly plausible that someone can decide they're trans at the age of 11, go through the entire process and be like fully surgically done up by their early 20s. And then in a few years start regretting it, start thinking there were other things they wanted for their life that they're never going to have because they've been tunnel visioned on this thing that they wanted when they were 10. There are clips of Chinese people saying, keep your gay shit to yourself. We don't care on their only two genders. Ah, base. I need to find some of that shit, man. That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm glad in a way. That all that shit needs to die, and I hope it does, frankly. Not the people doing it. I don't wish death on anyone. The actual shit they're doing. The DID shit, the gender shit, all the other shit. It's not going to fly on like the Chinese version because China probably doesn't want their people being subjected to this kind of shit. That's what they want other countries to fucking see.
Or, if a doctor, a psychiatrist, whatever says so, cool. I wouldn't argue with that. Anyways, but that's really all I got.
Yeah, you wonder how many like America-hating Americans go on there not realizing how good they have it, not realizing how the West is actually it's kind of the kind of place to be like gay and genderqueer and whatever the fuck else. But hey.
For right now, guys, I gotta go lay back down. Not feeling too well tonight. I've been hurting all day. Like, my crotch area. It hurts like fire. So, but I'm happy. So anyway.
Oof. That sounded,
It hurts like fire. So, but I'm happy.
Ouch. Well, an attempt was made. Hi, Yuki Ichigo. Hi, Sir Kello. Did I say hi to you, Napoleon's right hand? I don't think I did. Hi, Ginger Blaze as well. But yeah, Jesus. Do we believe it? I don't know.
So anyways, guys, and I'm almost done with my next actual video, my next good video, or good video, yeah, like any of mine are good videos, but my next video that's not a video diary is almost done. So anyways, if you like my content, then you got plenty of it coming, because I'm not going to stop either until I'm in the ground. But guys, I love y'all so much. That's all I got for now, and y'all have a great night. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.
But hey, there we go, Patricia, Elise. Don't be afraid. Listen, if you've got a conviction about something, just because someone's a doctor, like the medicine on children is highly experimental. I mean, you listen to someone like Marcy Bowers talking about it. They don't really know that much what they're doing. It's all based on that Dutch protocol. You end up with, I might as well show it here. Fuck it. Well, we might as well show it again here. This is a literal example of why all of this is experimental, and all of this means the doctors don't actually know much, if anything, much more than what we know.
The second was an observation that I had, that every single child or adolescent who was truly blocked at Tanner stage 2 has never experienced orgasm. I mean, it's really about zero. These are just assigned male at birth, so trans feminine, and it's because they never in their lives are exposed to testosterone. That doesn't change. So blockers prevent the rise of testosterone, and they don't really go on testosterone at or around surgery or into adulthood. And so we don't know. They're going to have the sensation. There's no question about that. But are they going to be able to achieve sexual satisfaction? It's important in relationships. And I know that from my work with female genital mutilation survivors, that the lack of being able to be intimate with a partner is very important. And so this is what really raised the red flag for me, is to say, look, we need to have our eyes open about it. I think it's been beneficial talking about it. I know Joe and many others have reported to me, they've changed their approach a little bit in their informed consent models, and that we're talking.
Mary.
Thanks for bringing a logical trans voice to these issues.
Thank you so much, Petunia. Thank you.
Talking about masturbation now. We're talking about, okay, that's an area of the body that's got very dysphoric for you, but you know what? It's all a penis is just a large clitoris. I mean,
you see what I mean? It's all experimental. These people barely know much more than we do, quite honestly. Yeah, if you have a deeply held belief, you don't have to cave just because there are some organizations that disagree with you. You're allowed to disagree with doctors. You're allowed to disagree with medical orgs. You're allowed to disagree with whoever the fuck you want, quite frankly. Just, it's best if you have fucking reasons for it. So, yeah, maybe don't do it blindly, you know what I mean?